Broadcasting worldwide, online, 24/7.
All around the world.
Okay, and that is the Ghana national anthem, and amazingly, all the stanzas were sung to today. And I don't know how you feel if you're a Ghanaian joining us on Faith Talk. The first question that I'm going to ask my very special guest is a very interesting one, because Ghana turns 65 on today. That's today. That our first president, and I'm going to play the speech, and it's just under 3 minutes, and you will hear some of the some specific words that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, or Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, his famous speech on the Independence Night at the Independence Square. And so, if you're joining us, welcome to Faith Talk. My name is KB Bossman, and I'm your host. And you are live on You are live on Star Radio UK. The program is Faith Talk, and we're doing politics tonight. I am super excited. My guest is Professor Enoch Antwi. He's an associate professor at Vertibird University. He's a lead consultant on leadership, and some strategic books that has come from him. He will give us some clue during the program, towards the end of the program, about that. And also, let me say that joining us all the way from Accra, Ghana, we're so privileged to have him, is Mr. Charles Bissue. He's the Western Regional New Patriotic Party secretary, I believe, secretary, and he's also joining us representing the New Patriotic Party, the governing party in Ghana today. And we celebrate, they've led us to celebrate 65 years of Ghana's independence. And last but not the least is a good friend and a brother. He is Conrad Dumbah. He is also representing the National Democratic Congress, the biggest opposition party in Ghana today, and he is also an accountant by profession. So when it comes to the numbers, you know, some of the technocrats that God has gifted the nation of Ghana. But let me welcome and start off with Professor Enoch Antwi, who is no visitor or stranger to Faith Talk. Prof, welcome, and good to see you again.
Thank you very much, KB, and my regards to all the colleagues on this platform. I also want to say congratulations to Mother Ghana with her turn 65 years. So traditionally, if we were hard on the job, then we have retired at the age of 60. So there's a 5-year of grace period, which means that we are no more kids. We can eat the bones, and we should be holding the bull by the horn and then take our destinies in our own hands.
I like that, Prof. And thank you for joining us. I know that we are in for a very good time. The future of our country is in our hands. And let me also welcome Conrad. You're welcome back again.
Thank you, KB. My pleasure to share audience with my fellow esteemed gentlemen in your August studios this evening.
Thank you. And you've given Ghana a good a traditional how do you call it, wear, which is good. And also the Honorable himself joining us all the way from Accra. Honorable Charles Bissue, welcome to Faith Talk.
Hi, Bossman. How are you?
Very well.
Hi to everyone.
Wonderful. It's good to have you. And how did the celebration go?
Okay. Oh, it went well. I'm currently in Accra. I couldn't go to Cape Coast. I watched it on TV because we are doing a few. Because I work for the party, and we have the polling station executives elections going on.
Yes.
So I came back from the Western region to Accra yesterday. I'm going back tomorrow. So there's a few things that I was supposed to do here in Accra. But I watch it on TV, and I'm driving around the streets of Accra. You can see that Ghana, we have come of age 65 years. the first country to attain independence in the sub-Saharan Africa. And we've actually led in every occasion, and most African countries within the West African region try to emulate what we're doing. And I'm thinking that we shouldn't actually rest on our laurels. We shouldn't be complacent. Yes, we normally compare ourselves to the Malaysias and the Singapores,
right?
Who I think also started around 60 years ago. But they are way ahead of us because of a few reasons, which we are going to discuss, I believe so, in this program. So, I mean, people are happy, everyone is enjoying it. It's just that the economy is actually in crisis, not Ghana alone, it's all over the world. So it's difficult, but I believe that we'd all bounce back, just as the theme for today's independence celebration stipulates, that we are working together and then we bounce back together.
Thank you for that. And I just want us to just do a quick play to the statement, the first speech on our Independence Night. Please, it's under 3 minutes.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing the own affairs. And my last warning to you is that you all should stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody. We are waiting. We shall no more go back to sleep anymore. We are going to demonstrate to the world, to the other nations, young as we are, that we are prepared to lay our own foundation. As I said in the assembly just minutes ago, I made it point that we are going to say that we create our own African personality and identity. It's the only way in which we can show the world that we are ready for our own battle. But today, may I call upon you all that at this great day, let us all remember that nothing in the world can be done unless it has the purported support of God. We have done the battle, and we again rededicate ourselves not only in the struggle to emancipate other territories in Africa. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. And here, I will ask the band to play the Ghana National Anthem.
I believe that we can, for the sake of time, we can take it from there. That was a very short speech, precise, straight to the point, from Osagifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And on this, I believe, unique night, very special to Ghana, he made some serious, very important statement. And he says, one of the things that he mentioned is that we are going to create our own as a country. And he believes that our independence is meaningless unless the whole continent of Africa. So he was looking more outward. And to talk about what Ghana can achieve and the people can do, he was trying to rally the whole country so that what has been achieved as the birth of Ghana can be nurtured and taken to the next level. And my question is, did Dr. Nkrumah get Ghana to a good start, or he was power drunk? So he got to a stage that he was trying to monopolize something called Ghana by willing it to himself, or what? So I'll start with Prof, because you are the neutral amongst the MPP and the NDC. Prof, the speech, the independence speech, what do you make of it, please?
I think it's a very remarkable speech. If you look at it, he mentioned 3 core points that are very important. The first one is that we are capable of managing our own affairs. That is what he believed in. So he was a futuristic leader. He believed in the capabilities of our country. And as of now, the question is, are we still able to manage our own affairs after 65 years? I think that if you look at research and if you look at currently the trend, we've not been able to do so. Then he said that our own African personality and identity. Yes, we own our own personality and identity, but a lot have gone on. If you even look at what is happening in Ukraine, where blacks were not allowed to board on the train, but yes, people were thinking about their dogs and other things. It hurts. I've attended many conferences where some black folks, African Americans and other things, will say that they are even not proud of being black. And most of the time I ask them that, then go kill yourself, because God in his wisdom knows why you are black. Adam was black, the first man on this planet. White color came from black. Because I can go a whole lot. I've done a whole lot of YouTube videos and other talking about our race and how we came about. Jesus was black, and yet we have pictures of white people that we worship. Now let's talk about the other thing. The African continent is totally liberated. Yes, we are liberated politically, but economically we're not. And if you look at our outward journey, yes, of Ghana for the past 65 years, we all know the problems. We know about the terrible roads we have, especially the cocoa farms road, that government have policies, cocoa roads and all those things, but we've not been able to do that. Tiring roads and connecting them to the cities, we're still lagging behind the best 10 in Africa. If you talk about the best 10, universities in Africa, the first 10, we are still not in there. So education, we're struggling there. If you talk about health, look at people still after 65 years are being born on the floor, and then beds are not there. Recently, a very person close to me was traveling to Cape Coast for this event. Got to a palm and then got a stomach pain. They tried to go to the Palm Hospital and they told them that the road to the hospital is not accessible. They can't even go there. She had to endure the pain until they got to Cape Coast. So health, education, infrastructures, roads, all these things have not been, even manufacturing has not been there. But if you look at what Nkrumah did, we'll talk about that very soon. You can tell that he built the base. He built the base. All that we had to do was to take the pace. And we've not been able to do that after 65 years. So Ghana's geopolitical highlights, you can tell we've had a lot of coup d'etats and a lot of things has happened. But since we returned to constitutional rule in 1992 till now, we have problem with leadership, we have problem with delegates, we have problem with critical friends, we have problem with even our politics, we have problem with media, we have problem with the what do you call it, parliament, we have problem with our laws, problem with the police, we problem with even religion.
Yes.
So the identity that he talked about, our personal identity, even the values of our culture, we still have problems with that after 65 years. So the question remains this: if after 65 years of you being born to, let's say, a poor family with twists and turns and everything that you're going through, after 65 years, you cannot blame your parents anymore, because you are able to make your own choices as an adult. And that is what I'm asking for today, that after 65 years, I'm calling for action of the country to increase the focus on the topic of our inward experience in order to bring about transformation and change.
Powerful, Prof. And let me thank you for that submission. Let me go straight to Honorable Charles Bissue in terms of the speech that Dr. Nkrumah gave and your take on that.
Okay, thanking you. I mean,
hello, Charles.
Extent that,
yes, okay,
achieved a lot. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm missing you, so
can you? I can hear you, I believe.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes. Honorable,
Hello?
please go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Um, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Is it better?
Yes, it's better. I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I agree with Prof to a large extent that yes, economically we're not there. Our identity, yes, we know who we are and all that. But you see, when we're looking at these things, we need to look at the times where all these started. You know, when President Nkrumah, when Ghana was handed, Gold Coast was handed over to him, the population of Ghana was about 7 million. Ghana owed nothing. There was money in our coffers.
Right.
And so he was able to actually set the pace and give us a foundation. Whereas he actually set up a lot of factories, be it Black Star Line, the first military, because at that point we had attained independence. So everyone knew that it was nation building, the nation building process at the time. So he was able to do a lot. It got to a point that I believe that he got complacent, where he wanted to have a one-party state and then actually rule all by himself and all that. That is where actually I think he deviated. But you see, the Western world, in as much as they left the shores of Africa or the continent, handed over stuff, the democracy, our politics and everything to us, they still actually did things in a way that they still have control over us. For example, you realize that most of the...
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yes.
We lost the feed.
Most of the countries...
Yeah, go ahead.
In terms of international trade, like the Cadburys, the Johnsons and all that, after they had left, they brought in these companies and actually did business with us and then repatriated the money back. So that was another form of colonization. Now, when we were doing those agreements, we didn't have the technical know-how. So, for example, when they extracted your gold, they're telling you that we're going to take the gold to our country, refine it, and bring it back to you because you do not have the machinery. At that time, the world wasn't a global village. And then, for example, bauxite. I'll give you a typical example. For over 50 years, we are not able to refine bauxite in our own country, and so we have to actually dig the bauxite, send it to China or whatever, and then they refine it and then bring it back to us. When these are extracted and taken out there, there's gold, there's several minerals in there, but then they are telling you that it is bauxite, and that was done about 50 tons per $50 per ton, and then they refine it and send it back to you. So all these agreements were not put in place. And then after President Nkrumah set up all these factories, you realize that we had coup d'etats, about 4 or 5 of them, and that actually affected our progress. And I remember, I wasn't born then, but I remember that from what I read, I was told that Nkrumah was asked to leave Ghana to go to Hanoi, Vietnam, to actually help mediate, and then by the time he was there, he was actually ousted from power. Wasn't that something that was done with the Western world? I mean, it's happened to Gaddafi, it's happened to... So when you try to go independent and do economically and everything, where they cannot actually siphon or actually get something for you, they try to bring chaos. Captain Thomas Sankara, even though he was a military leader and all that. But culminating that, you see, after these coup d'etats, all the state agencies were under the economic recovery program, were sold under President Rawlings. I think they were under the divestiture implementation committee.
Yeah.
And then all these defunct companies were not replaced. I remember the person who was leading was Ike Agbodo. For example, Black Star Line, all of them, about 128 of them, that from the Nkrumah era that was set up, were not replaced. So I have an issue. We had employment deficit. All these factories have gone down. So it was going to affect us. So sometimes when we compare ourselves to Malaysia, Singapore and all that, we do that minus the coup d'etat. They haven't had that. And also, I think democracy has also affected us, where our constitution is such that the winner takes all. If you go to Singapore and all that, they have one political party, even though they have an opposition party, but that has been in power for about 30 or 40 years. So they're able to continue with their development projects.
Honorable, that one way or the other, if you can please raise your camera a little bit so that we can see your face. Well, powerful. Okay. That's great. I mean, just to chip in what you just mentioned with regards to Malaysia, a party has been in power for 30 years, and simply because there's consistency. And as you said, Dr. Nkrumah was trying to become a one-party state, which nobody wants that. But I was not born by then, but I don't think that that is what he was. But anyway, in the subsequent questions, possibly we can get into those waters. And thank you for that. The coup d'etats and everything that's coming. So that has affected us as a country. Brilliant. Yeah. We'll come to that. But let me go straight to Conrad for his submission on Dr. Nkrumah's speech on that night. Conrad?
Thank you very much, KB. And I think my predecessors have just laid a good foundation to take off from.
Yes.
So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is the best thing that ever happened to Ghana.
Right.
It doesn't take much to see the story of Ghanaian independence. The fact that Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain its independence. And it didn't come easy for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Those of us who are lovers, or if you like, students of history, we know the story of Kwame Nkrumah from his days in the US, in the UK, as a strong Pan-African leader and organizer. We know how Pa Grant and other very strong stalwarts of independence eventually, in fact, Pa Grant was the one who paid for Kwame Nkrumah to come down because they saw that this was the guy who was going to break if you like, break the lines for Ghana. He was the real deal. You know, in fact, J.B. Dankwa, of blessed memory, said that he publicly said, I believe at Solpon, that if he failed Ghana, that was the Gold Coast then, Kwame Nkrumah will never. And truth as it came to pass, he delivered independence. Now, Kwame Nkrumah set us on a very good trajectory. And I think my brother, Honorable Charles Bissue, has listed some of the things he did. Yeah. From the Black Star Line, Ghana Airways, that I had the privilege of traveling on in the early 2000s, before President Kufuor wound it down. You know, almost every factory, in fact, Tema Township itself, including the harbor, that's Kwame Nkrumah. The motorway, that's Kwame Nkrumah. University of Ghana, Tech, UCC, Winneba, you know, expansion of the if you take Kwame Nkrumah out of Ghana, you have no Ghana. What we do today, even Kutuka International Airport, that's Kwame Nkrumah. Almost everything we are in Ghana today is Kwame Nkrumah. And if you chart the path of progress from Kwame Nkrumah to date, you will see that we kind of came down that way, and we are struggling to get back there. Just to give one number, and then I will come to the African personality element. From an economic perspective, when we took independence, and if you those of us who love and have studied history, Kwame Nkrumah was the head of government for close to 5-6 years. In fact, our independence was delayed because some elements of Ghanaians did not want it to happen. I mean, without playing a political card, it is a fact that Dr. Bissue at the time and a few others actually came up to Britain to petition the Queen not to give independence, which was a bit of a shame. It's also a fact that even when we became a fourth republic, we had our own Ghanaians fighting hard against Nkrumah's figure being on the CD instead of the Queen. So you see, the difference between us and Singapore, as Honorable Charles Bissue talked about, is the difference is that they were singularly focused on developing the country. And I may be unfair here, but there is no denying the fact that Dr. Nkrumah was singularly focused on developing the country. But other elements, sections of Ghanaian society were fixated on, if you like, getting the reins of power. And that's how come we had the unfortunate coup of 1966. Because as Honorable Charles Bissue just said, Singapore were focused on development first. They stuck to their one party and see where they are. China, you know, and personally, look, I'm not worried about whether you are one party, two party, 10 parties. As the famous Chinese president Deng Xiaoping said, does it really matter the color of the cat as long as it catches mice? No. We run to China today. China is one party state, but they put development first. They put country first. At independence, under Kwame Nkrumah had run our economy for almost 5-6 years. from 1951 when the CPP won, and then we had another election in 54, another one in 56, where he had to emphatically trounce the opposition to convince the British to give us independence. And of course, the British were never happy to give us independence. And this is where I disagree with my brother Charles Bissue. At independence, it is not true that Ghana was debt free. In fact, if you go into the archives, you realize that the British were not fair to Ghanaians. They had a lot of money that they kept in stock for Ghana that we never actually got hold of. Nkrumah had to play it long and hard, eventually for us to build a Akosombo Dam. If those of us who know the history, he had to go first to the Americans. They refused to fund it. He went to the Soviets. Nkrumah took the non-aligned movement. Then President Kennedy called him back. And then the Americans funded Nkrumah, funded Akosombo Dam. And he went to the Soviets for Bui Dam. Now, how long did it take us to eventually build Bui Dam? From 1957 all the way to what? 2009-10 was when it was finally built. And I thank President Kufuor for bringing it back to the drawing board. Now, when President Dr. Nkrumah took over, our GDP per capita, our income level was the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. Even at the time, apartheid South Africa was nowhere near us. We were at $490. That's, I mean, you are looking at 1957. You take 1957 and benchmark it today, and you'll see where we were. We were at par with South Korea. The difference is that we lost focus. Look, you remember Go Mango vehicles. We were making them in Ghana. I'm sure as a young child, I still remember Go Mango. Every school had it. So called them boy shakers. Akasanoma radio, Sanyo radio, where TVs were being produced in Ghana. We were making fridges. Ghana was making giant fries.
If you, sorry to chip in, but if you can wrap that up and then we can get to the, because of time.
Yes. And I think Nkrumah was determined to show that the African could do it, as his speech said, that we are prepared to fight our own battles. We are prepared to show that we are somebody, and we are prepared to showcase the African personality. You know, before independence, if I wore this to a church, I would have been thrown out. Okay, Nkrumah gave us that personality. So I think that, look, Nkrumah set a solid foundation. That's why we still remember Nkrumah. Can we get back there? We review him today. We have nostalgia of Nkrumah because we have not been able to match where he left us. Okay,
brilliant. And thank you for that, Conrad. And I'll go straight to Prof. And Prof, we've talked about Dr. Nkrumah's speech and how yes. Yes,
Honorable. Something I should have come in because I didn't know we were going to go on that tangent. I thought the whole thing is about charting a course for Ghana, about development and all that.
Yes.
I didn't know we were going to be blaming people and all that. And you see, he was talking about when Nkrumah there was debt in Ghana. There wasn't. Some of the money was taken abroad. You understand? But that was why Nkrumah had the luxury of giving $10 million to the AU, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which we are actually benefiting from now. Today we have the AFCTFA. So along the line, all I was saying was that along the line, this country, Ghana, that we want actually to go forward and actually well developed. Yes, Nkrumah set the foundation, which I have not actually said anything bad about it. The coup d'etat. I also went on to say that sometimes the Western world, they put strings in there. They will not allow you to do things. And during that time, we didn't even have the technical know-how. So there are certain agreements that we are even suffering from now. You understand?
Yeah.
For example, a company like Look Oil comes to Ghana now. I would have wished that when we're signing the agreement, we would say that in simple economics, you have to go nearest to your raw materials. So if the oil is from the Western region, then Palo should have their headquarters there. Goldfield should have their closer to the natural resources. But that never happened. And I went on to say that all this while, we had a lot, about 128 companies.
State-owned.
And I didn't want to go to that tangent. But under the economic recovery program, it was sold under the NDC.
Yeah.
Where we did not have companies, people, investors to take over. And that was mismanagement of the economy. And ab initio, there was a deficit in employment in Ghana.
Okay.
Corporate taxes and everything went there, and it has never been replaced. That's the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
So I think that this discussion should be about how we go forward as Ghana. That
is where I was going as to the second phase, because we needed to talk about Dr. Nkrumah's speech, where we've been, as in where Ghana started. Then we will talk about the Fourth Republic, and then we can talk about the future. That is where we're going. So thank you for chipping in that. But I want to go back to Prof. Prof, a lot has been said in terms of what Dr. Nkrumah said, and you heard the politicians talking about, I mean, chipping in, even though it's, you know, politicians they want to always score a point when the two meet. So it's normal. It's normal.
That's what politics
yes,
about,
it's normal. But what I want to say is that my question is around the fact that moving away from Dr. Nkrumah's speech, his works, what he's done, the mistakes he made, the good things he did for Ghana, a whole lot that he's done for Ghana. But my main focus now is the Fourth Republic. You mentioned in your opening submission as to if Ghana was to be a human being, I mean, at age 65, there are no excuses. So therefore, in the Fourth Republic, we as a country, as a people, where do we start? Because at a point, another person came in and did what he had to do, good or bad. We are here. So the bad side of it, almost everybody suffered. If you're a Ghanaian, if you were born at that time, every person suffered for that kind of intervention. But in the Fourth Republic, where we started, that is what I want us to deal with. Then we'll come to the future. Have we done well? Have we as a country come together? I mean, listening to the speech of Dr. Nkrumah as to coming together, rallying the citizenry to focus on building the nation. Have we done that? Have we done justice to ourselves as a people? Are we selfless? Are we passionate? Are we proud to be citizens? That is what I want to find out in the Fourth Republic.
KB, the answer is no. And I think it's obvious for everybody to see. Charles talked about a couple of things that are very important. He talked about the Western world. Mr. Mandela said something that it's not everybody who wishes Africans well. And that's true. I've lived here in the US for a long time, and I know that I've attended many conferences where they will tell you that, you know, blacks have to tell their own stories. You have to build your own countries because that's yours. They also building theirs. Trump came and said that let's make America great again. Every country is thinking about their own. So the onus of bringing or making Africa great or Ghana great in this context is ours to make. He also talked about the technical know-how. When Congo had democracy in 1960, they did not have more than 10 graduates. So yes, but you can tell that we've really done well. For 65 years, look at the many doctors we've churned out, professors we've churned out, lawyers we've churned out. So when it comes to academia, we've really been able to do well to catch up with the world. Now we have more medical doctors, Ghanaians, in New York than we have in Accra.
Jesus is Lord.
So we have a lot of, you know, technocrats now that we built academically. And these were Nkrumah's work, because we can talk about thousands. I've listed about what, over 80 of the things he did. I'm wondering why Tema City was not even named after Nkrumah, because everything there is him.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about another thing he raised about bauxite. You know, if for 50 years we've not been able to refine bauxite, then who do you blame? We blame leadership. Because we should be able to do that. Recently, one minister said that they are trying to get clearance to refine gold in Ghana. You know, in America, if they want to refine oil or anything, they don't go to seek clearance from anybody. They do it. So a lot of things that we should be thinking about doing it. I have even advocated that S&P, you know, Standard & Poor and all these things that do credit ratings, we should have our own.
Yeah.
Because we cannot be sitting down as a country for outsiders to be
rate
rating
us. Yeah.
You know, because they determine our credit worthiness. And if they say that we are not credit worthy, it means that we go to the debt market or the bond market we want to buy, and then they say that you have so much debt you can't raise loans. You know, because somebody is calling the shots. We should be able to call our own shots. That's my submission there. And then you talk about the the winner takes all. That's also a problem in our politics. When one political party wins, even the public toilet down at my village, they change the person there. Why? because your party is no more in power. And that doesn't help us. So we should be talking about that. I think that in the Fourth Republic, Ghanaians did a good job. If you look at the parliament now, we have 137, 137. I always call it a buffet. You know, because the winner takes all, I think that the e-levy and a lot of the bills would have passed easily if MPP had a majority. But for some weird reasons, it's never happened in our history that we have a hung parliament. And I thought that we're going to work together, you know, for development. But that is not happening. If you look at military coups that has happened in our country, one thing about military people is that they are not trained for leadership. They are trained for security. So when they come in, they are thinking about how to secure themselves, so that because they know they are afraid of even their shadows, that another military officer will overtake them. So all their time they are thinking about security. So any military government, Africa have had over 100 generals, and then we had over 50, you know, junior army officers who have taken over, 150 of them for our history. But look at what they did. Abacha stole over 100 million into Swiss bank account. Look at Kotuka, look at Efrifa, look at all these guys that took over. What did they do? Even Rollins, who had almost 20 years, and Nkrumah had 9 years. But look at what he did. Rollins had almost 20 years. What did Rollins do that matches even 1/10 of what Nkrumah did? So you can see that the military is not focused about development or the economy. The military is about security and protecting themselves. That is why our economy has suffered until now. So when you talk about the Fourth Republic now, I think that we have an opportunity of a hung parliament that can work together for strategic management, and then we talk about policies that will bring the country. Then it's also about consensus building, so that every decision that one political party makes, the other party supports it. But unfortunately, everything is being used to play politics here. You know, a government wants to bring a policy, the other government don't want it support. And who suffers? When two elephants fight, the ground suffers. The people are now suffering, and the pain is too much. This morning, I was talking to somebody on the radio, on video, on WhatsApp, and there was a car passing. This, you know, politician's car passing. They don't know whether it's an NDC or MPP, but the people say, oh, you know, e-levy cars. And I thought that was funny, that why are people doing all this to ourselves? So I think that for this, one, we need to change our attitude as citizens. That's number one. We need to change our attitude. Can you believe that Keduase Lodge that Nkrumah built, KB, that was a 4-story building with swimming pool, theater complex, a guard and a staff complex? What happened to it until 2000s now that we rebuilt it? We allowed them to rot. Another is a very good friend of mine, right from Nooks, and he's the chief whip. Do you know, before he became the chief whip, he was the Parliament Committee for Foreign Affairs chair. You know what happened? Even our areas, most of our areas that we have, our embassies all over, and Nkrumah built it. And we have allowed it to rot. We've allowed all those, go to National Theatre and all those, we've allowed those, so maintenance culture is zero. We've allowed all these to rot, that some of our embassies, even the toilet would not, you know, the water will not flow. And then these ambassadors there are supposed, we pay visas when we are coming to Ghana, and all the money that they collect. But how much do they even contribute that to Ghana? But we pay them from Ghana, with their families and everything, and even clothing allowance from Ghana. And they're supposed to generate some income and send some home, but they're not doing it. So we need to blame our own attitude. Everybody is looking at the little coffers of Ghana, going there, create something. Any idea is about looting money to help our families. When people are writing proposals even to NGOs, they write it in such a way that we are even living on trees. They make it so sad. Our education is in crisis. This is in crisis. We use some words that make the white person see that we are dying. And what image are we sending out there about ourselves? In this world, before people will respect you, you need to respect yourself and make sure that your government is also doing well. If you keep borrowing and go and begging for people every time, how would they respect you? So Kwame Nkrumah's identity that you talked about, the African identity, the time has come for us to sit up, do an introspective research and ask ourselves, what can we do for ourselves? Because before Nkrumah left, every week, everybody, there was service learning. Every week, you have to volunteer 1 day of your time to serve. Where is that anymore?
That's gone.
Where is that anymore? So we all need to be part. We need to blame ourselves. I'm not talking about blaming MPP or NDC or anybody. We need to blame ourselves as a people, because here there's no I, but we all have failed ourselves. We need to sit down and begin to build our own country so that we cannot enjoy it. When the roads are good, it doesn't matter whether NDC build or MPP build it, we enjoy it. When the hospitals are good, when the schools are good, when we have a great park system, we cannot enjoy it. So let's join together in this fourth republic and then build our nation.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for that input. And let me go straight to Honorable, and I'll come to Conrad. Honorable,
okay.
The Fourth Republic, the start. Please go on.
Carry on.
No, I was going to say that the same, like the Fourth Republic, that is where we are now. Then after we'll go to the future as to how can we get ourselves together to build a better Ghana, because in my broadcast I said that Ghana, God has blessed Ghana with every single natural resource as a country. Should we be going around begging and being in poverty and things that we can easily, get done?
I get your point. You see, I like the way Prof spoke. Very passionate about things that we have to do. You see, but then when concluding, he mentioned about where people have to do service under President Nkrumah. You see, times have changed, because now, when President Nkrumah was there, it was a socialist system of government, which was closer to the communists. And at that time, it was nation building. So we're able to go out there and then do something in terms of nation building. I remember when President Kutwe Champon was there, where we said one man, certain things that Operation Feed Yourself.
Operation Feed Yourself, yes.
But now we've actually moved to the capitalized where the private sector is the engine of growth. So driving the economy, everybody wants to go to the private sector and do something for yourself. You see, but I like the bits that he spoke about attitude. Bossman, I lived in the UK for 20 years. When I was actually coming into Ghana to integrate, it was difficult, because the things that I used to do in the UK, my education and everything, when I was trying to replicate them here, it wasn't gelling. So at a point, you have to actually adjust to the situation here, find yourself somewhere before you actually educate the people behind you. You understand?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we've okay, I believe.
Oh, can you?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So replicating these things within our culture, Ghana here, is difficult. For example, the last time I was traveling from JFK to Accra, at the airport, everybody was queuing nicely, okay?
Yeah.
And I saw this guy, when you're going to board, is it Delta Airlines, when you're going to board, I think gate 32, when you're going to board, they have to do a temperature check. And I saw this guy standing there talking to somebody rudely. But then the Ghanaian complied, and I went to the guy and I said, why are you speaking to you like that? Because in Britain, the person will speak to you nicely, but in America it was different.
Yeah.
But then the Ghanaian complied. When immediately we got off the plane here in Accra, this same person who was actually being chastised or having a go at, which wasn't good, that I was trying to defend, was actually moaning that, hey, he was even jumping the queue. So I called him back and I said, within 12 hours, you've changed. Because when you were in the US, I saw you, and then I was even defending you. Now you're in Ghana, so you don't want to do the right thing, right? Get back to get to the back of the queue. You see, so our attitude towards things is not good. Number two, in Parliament, it is good that we have 137 now. Yeah. Because for my political party, if I want to go in 2024 and actually vote, go for the canvas for vote, I need to tell Ghanaians a good story. It is not propaganda.
Yeah.
So if Parliament, if they scrutinize my party well, and then we're able to pass proper bills, it will inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian. Because if I sit here and I said the president has said Agenda 111, we're going to have 111 hospitals, and all of them are not built. Even when we get 60 before 2024, I am happy. because it has never happened in Ghana, because we're in a situation where we're even fighting about Commander Sugar Factory.
Yeah.
One, we're arguing about it. And then in 1983, 128 of them factories went. Now, fast forward. You see this refinery thing that Prof mentioned. I do not know where they were going to seek approval from. But I'll use the bauxite as an example.
Right.
See, when this government came, the president said form a GIADIC. He went to parliament and all that. Because that company were taking the bauxite out of the country, refining it, and then selling it back to us as a finished product. And each time they were actually evading taxes and they were doing a lot more things. And then each time they are asked to set up a refinery, they actually keep postponing the time. So when this government came, they said, now we need to build the refinery within 1.5 years. You remember the Sino-Hydro deal, the 2 billion?
Yeah.
You know all that money has come because it was a butter, so there's no interest. About 600 or so million came. Okay.
Yeah.
The Chinese, what they were trying to do was that they know that it is winner takes all at the same time. That's why I told my brother Conrad that we shouldn't be doing politics with this. When the Chinese saw that we were going to go into the run up to the 2020 election, they started dragging their feet, and then they were supporting the opposition party to come in so that there will be what? Another agreement. So the president actually asked them to leave the country, and then the taxes, some of them were paid. You understand? So I think it boils down to leadership. We taking drastic decisions and ensuring that these expatriates do not repatriate monies back to their countries. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I think we all have to come together. It is not because we have to be at the helm of the political affair that the other one has to feel. For example, when we were in opposition under Jerry Rawlings, I remember Dr. Conrad was the chairman of the finance committee. Each time the NDC came out with a budget statement, we came up with the alternative one so that Ghanaians can actually decipher and then actually understand which one is the best price. Now, fast forward. When the doctor said that, it is not every time that we have to go and borrow. So, post-COVID, if a country, Ghana, says, okay, there's an avenue for us to actually get some money from, and then you go out there and poo-poo it because you, at the, every 8 years, a certain government has to change. The constitution doesn't say that. It says that the president, but the political parties, so long as they do can stay in power and do the right thing. I'm not saying that MPP has done everything right.
Yeah.
There are miscreants within us. But it's the code of conduct of the New Patriotic Party and the constitution makes us all good. But then we all come from individual houses where we've been nurtured differently. But when we come in, we always find loopholes as to actually making our own way. So I think going forward in the fourth Republican Party, for example, this e-levy thing, for me, if you look at it, there's been a shift in the way people sell now in Ghana. It is not everybody who goes to the shop. People use Facebook, okay? And then I can sit here and go there and say, I want a trainer or I want some trousers to buy. It will be in Kumasi. And then I will send mobile money to that person in Kumasi. The person will transport the thing via VIP or whatever without paying tax. So the government is saying, okay, let's use that avenue. Nobody is comfortable in paying taxes, but I believe that even in the Western world, it's in the taxes that has actually made it what it is now. If we talk about Singapore and all that, Malaysia, they only have palm fruits, right?
Yeah.
Which was taken from Ghana. But they've developed their country with taxes. The only problem we have here in our part of the world is that that's of corruption, leakages and all that. And for me, as I sit here, and I'm an example of that, that's a nice story. Mm-hmm. When I thought that I was doing the right thing for Ghana, and then somebody said, no, because you're doing the right thing, we have to actually throw Spanish in there. And the police report came out. But then within the same NDC, let me go out there and say I am going for an election now. The NDC will come out and say, no, he's a thief. And then within my party, if an NDC person is doing it, we also say that person is a thief, knowing the facts. But my politics is saying that I come out with the facts first, and then we build on the facts. Because if I sit here and I say that the Agenda 111, I lie to people, our people in the Western region and the Volta region, okay? A family member will call me and I will have to send money. So you pay one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I think that within this fourth Republican Constitution, let us all see that, okay, it is a competition of ideas. If MPP says 1.75, then we NDC can say 1%. Then we all are actually having a discussion. But if you're saying that, no, it is not going to happen, go to IMF. When you know that you've been to IMF and there were conditionalities and all that. So let the system flow so that I can come to power. That is what I am talking about, the winner takes all. But even if it's the winner takes all approach, let us have what? Good conscience, and then believe that Ghana would go. Because if I lie to you now, being a politician, and then I leave this house now, and then I go out there, a family member will call me, and I'll pay one way or the other. So I don't think we should keep dribbling ourselves as politicians. 65 years, we haven't done well, and I keep saying that even the way we sign contracts now, when oil companies are coming in and all that, it's about time the government the parliament sit down and say, okay, we are looking into all agreements, because Cadbury's, Nestle, all these companies that we have here, okay, the chunk of their profit is expatriated out. So we can actually renegotiate and sit down with them and say, now, post-COVID, this is the way we're going. So we want every contract looked into. If you are a new company coming into Ghana, wherever the natural resources is, go and set up your headquarters there. By doing so, the infrastructure will spread out across the country. And I believe that that's the way we should go. So on this note, I will conclude with that and say, I think we should actually move forward as one nation, not MPP NDC. Yes, the political party is there. The checks and balances must be there. That is where Nkrumah failed, when he was actually going one party state. That is where he failed. But if we are doing MPP NDC, just like the United States, where they have the Democrats and the Republicans, where sometimes the Republicans will support Democrats, so long as it is good, then I think that'll be the way forward for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Charles Bissue, for the submission. I like the last part. That is what I champion. That is what I love, because at the end of the day, we are Ghanaians. The parties will come and go, but the Ghanaian will always be. And that is very key. And we in the diaspora, as you said, you've lived here 2 decades. Very important. You know how even the governing, the party, the Conservative, they can stand against their own leader, vote of no confidence, and all those stuff. But can we be bold in our nation, Ghana, to do that? Can we?
Ghana, if you do that in Ghana,
yes.
For example, the NDC.
Yes.
I have friends there that I went to school with.
Yes.
They've been told that anybody who votes for the E-levy will be kicked out of the party.
What about the NPP?
That's what.
Is everybody supporting the E-levy in the NPP?
No. I'm not saying for me, the 1.75 was too high. You understand?
Okay.
As a member of the parliament, it was too high for me.
Okay.
I thought we should have a conversation. But the most important thing is that if we are getting $10 billion or whatever in a year, and they're saying you start and all that, we should actually spend it judiciously, because in 2024, I would want to go campaigning and then answering questions as to why the money was collected and not used. You understand? There was this gentleman, I listened to him on radio. He's a member of one of the associations, either Guta or something. And he said, for the E-levy, if they're going to collect it, and then even the E-levy, now it's 1.25. Because when we started working on that, Ramaphosa came into the country. And Anthem is a South African company, right?
Yes.
So all the money is being repatriated there. Immediately we started the E-levy thing, he came down. And then immediately they tell MTN reduce it by your transaction fee by 0.25. And then the government reduced it by 0.25. So then in reality it's what? 125. Now, immediately this thing was being passed. I thought, okay, 175 is too high. Let's have a conversation. And this Guta guy said, now, if that money is going to be collected, then form a committee. Bring the judiciary chieftaincy, about 5 or 7 member committee, that this is what the money is being used for. Every 6 months, every 1 year, come and account to Ghanaians and all that. Immediately I said that, you know what? And then NDC member said, oh no. And then there will be a committee, and then they are going to charge fees for coffee and tea and all that. So everything you do, you see. But then if you look at the cost benefit effect of what the name test does, he was just a trader saying that. You understand? It doesn't mean I knew a educational background. But this is somebody who is actually out there in the market selling as a member of an association, and he was actually preparing this idea to the government, which I am for it. Even though the government is there, if we form a committee, because there's no trust in our system.
Yes.
Even if you give something to MPP and they spend it judicially, NDC will find a way and say that, okay, you're supposed to use 200 bags of cement, but you only use 180, so it's not good enough. So, you know, that's
Honorable, I brought in this part. So Thank you for that. But I like your stance, the last bit that you mentioned about being a Ghanaian. So that's very key, very important. Let me go straight to Conrad. And Conrad, we're in the Fourth Republic as a country. It's been on the shoulders. It was birthed by the NDC, from PNDC to NDC, and it's been on your shoulders. You're the longest party that has ruled Ghana as in the Fourth Republic. So what is your take when it comes to the Fourth Republic? How have we fared as a country?
So thank you very much, KB. And I think first and foremost, let me apologize to Honorable Charles Bissue if he felt that I went political. Although you notice that I clearly contextualized my account on historical events in and around the Nkrumah time. I didn't come to contemporary period. The closest I came to contemporary period was tracing the history of Ghana Airways. And I guess that it's a bit, I don't know whether Honorable is a bit jittery. I know our elders say when there is mention of dry bones, the old ladies panic. But my brother, don't need to panic at all. No need to panic at all. I think the irony of it is that you ended up with E-Levy and going down the political way. But what I said to contextualize was effectively what Professor did a better job of, Professor Enoch, a better job of contextualizing it. You know, talking about the foundation that Nkrumah laid, in spite of the challenges that beset him, you know, right until he was exited in 1966. And I think Professor Antwi is correct when he says that at the time we were on the cusp of a gold refinery. The gold refinery that Nkrumah set up was 80% complete. It was effectively in trial runs, about to be finalized when he was exited. You know, and if you look at Nkrumah's policy, the import substitution, he was setting Ghana up. Now, I know, my brother Charles, you did say, Nkrumah failed on a one-party state. But obviously, that is contradictory to the earlier statement that Singapore has made it because they were one-party state, they were focused on development. I think, look, our people, Ghanaians, do not really care how their standard of living is improved as long as it's improved. No Ghanaian will say, look, I now earn, say, $30,000 a month, but I don't like it because it's a one-party state that is giving me that money. World development, different countries. China is the second largest economy in the world. They are not the same as the US. In fact, even Britain, if you look at Britain, we call ourselves a capitalist. And I'm glad that, Honorable, you lived in this country. NHS is hardly a capitalist policy. There's free education here. That's not what, you go to the US, they don't have an NHS. So there are different continuums in development, whether it's right from the leftist all the way to the extreme right. They are all different. And so for me, my focus was, in spite of the fact that Nkrumah, and let's be clear, Nkrumah he declared one-party state in 1964. And if you look at the difference in terms of the development outcomes from 64 to when he was overthrown in 66, it was no markedly different from 57 to 64. And so let's forget the color of the cat and focus on what was done. By any stretch of imagination, I doubt Nkrumah failed. If anything, Nkrumah sustained Ghanaian stability economically. Of course, the West tried to sabotage them, and I agree with Honorable Bissue when he says that the West is always acting out of self-interest. And in fact, if you remember, Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African to gain independence country. And Ghana was doing so well that other African countries wanted to join. And that brings us back to Guinea. When Guinea was fighting for independence from France, what France literally did was literally destroy everything they had built in there and walked out and left Guinea penniless to make an example to other African countries who wanted independence. And Nkrumah stepped in with that $10 million. Now we reel him. But we have borrowed so much more from bilateral. Why was it good for Ghana to borrow from US, UK, other countries and get grants, right? And then it's bad for Ghana to in turn give a grant to a fellow African country. And I'm glad you ended up saying that's what has brought us the AFCT. The African personality, as Africans, we are naturally people who care for our own brothers in the village. That's why our social welfare system was always good. Orphans, there had a way orphans were taken care of, widows were taken care of. So we should look at that as a good thing that Nkrumah did for Ghana, and that's what stands Ghana in great stead. But to the fortunes of Ghana, right? Nkrumah sustained that stable from a political perspective, economic perspective. From 1966, you'd see what happened. Coups upon coups, palace coups. You know, when Champon and SMC1, SMC2, a coup will happen and there'll be a coup in a coup, almost like Russian babushka dolls. Palace coups left, right, and center until the PNDC put a stop to it about 40 years ago. And we have really had relative stability. And that has ushered us into the fourth Republican dispensation we have. Now, the fourth Republican dispensation, and that's to the question that has been asked, is by far our best vehicle to get back on track to where Nkrumah left us. The truth of the matter, between then, in fact, even during the PNDC couldn't make a lot of progress because we had the Americans, the Western countries briefing down the necks of Ghanaians to necessarily become democratic, not developed. And this is the irony of it. Look, we want people to have a good standard of living. Elections is not equal to democracy. And that is why China may not be a democracy, but they have the mandate of the people because they developed them. The good thing is that we in Ghana have decided that we want to go democracy and the fourth Republican dispensation. It has worked very well. It worked so well that at a point in time, and again, I'm not playing politics here, but anyone can pull me up if I'm wrong. When Kufuor took over from Rawlings, look, Kufuor did his bit. For example, Kufuor took over and looked at data. The PNDC had been struggling, NDC struggling to try and, if you like, get oil out of the ground. We collected the data all the way back from 1985, using some of our cocoa money under Honorable Chachutikata, a very good initiative. President Kufuor took it forward by saying, you know what, we don't have the money. So let people from outside, Talo Oil and Co, come in and use that same data and see if they can get some of the oil out, and then we will take a share. That is an example of how the democracy has served us well. Of course, President Kufuor also made his errors, like every government. Rawlings made his errors, Mills made his errors, Mahama made his errors, and President Nana is making his errors. You see, so the fourth Republican dispensation has been good for us. So good that at a point in time, we were literally focused on commissioning and development. And we Ghanaians were saying, we don't chop roads, we don't chop buildings, we don't chop hospitals. But that was taking us back to our heydays under Nkrumah, when we were building schools. Almost all the major secondary schools and universities in Ghana, were built by Nkrumah. Except what? University of, the new university in the Brom Hafo. Yes. UDS was Rawlings. UHAS, I believe, was the one in who was the NDC with Mills, Mahama, the University of Energy. Put those ones aside. Our core universities, everything was in Nkrumah. And if the fourth Republican dispensation gets us back to the place where we are building schools, E-blocks, you know, if we are building hospitals, Ridge Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Hospital, my own town's hospital, Bolga Regional Hospital, that is what democracy is about. And that is one of the things I respect President Rawlings for stabilizing this country, moving us away from the specter of coups and counter coups, handing over democracy to us. And that is the greatest asset we have. I know in recent times, we have had a situation where, you see, if our democracy, the fourth Republican Constitution, fails, it is because we, the politicians, have failed Ghana. It's because we have had a short memory, right? We should never take anything for granted. And that's why even the Constitution itself says this. The Constitution takes steps to ensure that we will do everything within our power to avert going back to coups. Nobody wants coups. But you see, they say what? The frog likes water, but not when the water is hot. We don't want the water to be hot and knock us back years. So all of us are shared in the view of making the fourth Republican Constitution work. But that means that we have to behave like democracies behave. We cannot be locking up media men as if we were in the PNDC era, and then we will compare. We cannot be, if you like, killing our own selves when we have something as simple as an election. Innocent babies, young kids being killed. We have to run our democracy, and it has to be an improvement. Rawlings handed over to Kufuor. Kufuor did his bit, handed over to Mills. Mills handed over to Mahama. Mahama handed over to Nana. We expect the country to continue to be secure. Its democratic credentials should be unblemished and should be cemented. Because in democracy, we are able to develop quicker. We should not get ourselves to a situation. And I mean, back to the point that Prof started, that it's a good thing we have 137, 137. That is actually even better. And that's one thing I respect about European democracies. They do proportional representation, where you end up in a situation where you use dialogue. And dialogue then means that you act in the interest of the people. And I'm proud that accidentally, I don't believe the Ghanaians deliberately went to the polls and gave us a hung parliament. Accidentally, we stumbled into the right thing. And I believe that it means then that if you compare the previous parliament, where any deal at all was run roughshod, deals that were not good for the country, I mean, the likes of Ejapa, which the country pulled back on, rightfully so, that were not good for this country, we're going through. And that brings me to my brother's e-levy. I know this is not a session for e-levy. We talked about e-levy the other time. But the reality of the fact, my brother, Honorable Bissue, e-levy is simply an economically illiterate policy. We went through that the last time. There is nowhere in this world where you tax a tax on tax on tax. It's only in Ghana in recent times that you have these things happening. E-levy will make the country poorer. Now, I like the point you made. Why is it that Ghanaians are opposed to e-levy? Not forget the NDC. It is not the NDC that is
but the government is sorry to chip in, but the government is now holding town hall engagement with the people, local people, explaining it to them. So are they not doing the right thing?
Thank you. It's good that they are doing it belatedly, but the point is not that Ghanaians didn't understand e-levy.
Right.
If you notice from the very budget where we talked of e-levy, Ghanaians started working and withdrawing. In November of last year, the number of Momo was going up, right?
Yeah.
About 8% from October to November. December, it dropped by 3.9%. Momo is pushing for a billion, right? 905 million Ghana cedis of were for Momo transactions last year. And it started coming down. Ghanaians are not economically illiterate. When you tell a Ghanaian that I'm going to take money out of your pocket, they don't need the NDC to tell them that that is not right. You see, look, the point of the matter is that my brother Charles Bissue diagnosed 2 points that are wrong with it, and that potentially will damage our fourth Republican Constitution. Corruption. Corruption is at an all-time high. In spite of all the accusations of the President Nkrumah as corrupt, when Nkrumah was leaving this country, of all the developments, all the reserves, Nkrumah leveraged, of course, he borrowed externally. He left out with only 1 billion. Where are we today? Take all the things Nkrumah bequeathed us. Nkrumah was said to be corrupt. Nkrumah never left a pin in his name. Today, and this cuts across both sides, NDC and MPP, corruption in the Fourth Republic is the one thing that is undoing the cloth of the Fourth Republic. One person steals and another steals. And ironically, let me be very bold here and speak as a Ghanaian, not as a politician. How many MPP people have locked NDC people for corruption? And how many NDC people have locked MPP people for corruption? I would be happy on a day where MPP locks NDC, NDC locks MPP, so that the two parties are checking themselves on the corruption score.
It's a football game.
Corruption is at all-time high.
They play
Every young man who wants to be a billionaire overnight is running into it. I mean, my brother has talked about his Galamsey saga, but there's no denying the fact that there was corruption involved in all of the Galamsey stuff. Look at what it did to our waters. So we have to cut down corruption. And I agree with you 100%, Honorable Bissue, that corruption is the canker destroying this country. Why on earth, and look, this may be unsubstantiated, why on earth would we go and spend 30 million Ghana cedis on meetings during the COVID season? It doesn't take much to work out where that is. But the reality of the case, the other point you said about lack of trust, Honorable Bissue, lack of trust is true. So this e-levy thing, part of it, and the Fourth Republican Constitution, Ghanaians are distrustful of the political dispensation they have now because they feel it's a kind of like a botched job. It's a botched job where both you have the NDC and the MPP collaborating with each other, taking turns to rape this country. A classic example, I'll say, look,
if we can begin to wrap it up so that we get to...
I'll just land on this one.
Yes, please.
Honorable Bissue, the reason that the parties don't trust each other is also because there is no sincerity. And let me use one example. When we were hard up in COVID times, right?
Yeah.
What happened? The Ghana Parliament voted 8 billion to be spent on COVID, all the expenditure. Of course, we got $1 billion from IMF, another $1 billion the next year from IMF, and as we now know, over 530 million from the World Bank. Now, what happened? We ended up spending 21 billion instead of the 8 billion. We overshot our expenditure by 13 billion.
No,
now,
25. 25. It went up to 25 billion.
Okay, so I mean, thank you for even adding 4 to it. How do I trust you? If I give you 8 cedis to go and spend, and you come back, you have spent 25 cedis. And this is the thing. Trust accountability. It's not that you spent it, it's about telling me why and how you spent it. I now say, let's have an inquisition into how you overspent it. And in Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament speaking, I know it was Joe Wise who was in the speaker seat, so he was Speaker for that day, then has the guts to tell Ghanaians that we will not allow Parliament to be used as a venue for you to see how we more than tripled what you gave us and spent. How do you expect Ghanaians to trust you? And so when you see this e-levy, Ghanaians being angry and they don't trust us, when you see the NDC side saying to you, we gave you 8 billion, you spent 25 billion, you are not prepared to account to us, therefore we won't vote for you. It is not a partisan thing. It is because, forget the NDC, if you put the e-levy to a referendum, my brother, the latest stats show that 91% of Ghanaians don't e-levy. There are so many ways we can get the money out of e-levy. For example, our tax exemptions. Why are we giving over 5 billion in tax exemption to foreign companies and asking Ghanaians to contribute 6 billion?
Okay, I'll have to come in there. Sorry to interrupt you because of the time.
No, that's fine.
We need. I've got just a few points that we're just going to do it quick so that we can wrap up quickly because our time is fast spent. So thank you for that submission, and I appreciate you bringing in all that. Let me quickly acknowledge just 2 or 3 people online on YouTube. I've got Joshua Malcolm says awesome setup. Faustina Into says a very educative program. Long live Ghana. And Abdullah Enin says what percentage of our GDP is coming from agriculture? That's a good one there. What happened to operations? Operation Feed Yourself. We need to have continuity of projects irrespective of what party started. I love that. Abdullah, God bless you for that, because this is what Ghana needs, and I believe the panelists have all of them have talked about that we need Ghana first. The parties will come and go, but Ghana still remain. Dr. Nkrumah is gone, and Ghanaians are still here. And quickly on Facebook, I've got Yamon. Then also Vicky Newt is watching, and she says, "Great show, thank you." Keep your questions coming through. If you want to send us WhatsApp, we're not opening the phone lines because we'll stick to text messages or messages on social media. It's 07539661744 if you're sending a WhatsApp message, or on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter is at Star Radio UK on Twitter, and also 07539661744. And quickly with these ones, I know that I'm going straight to Prof, but I know that these ones are quite let me combine, and if we can do possibly 2 minutes so that we can be wrapping up soon. There are a list of things that we talked about. We are talking about the future now, the future of Ghana, notwithstanding what we are doing now, because what we do today will determine the future that as a country we will be having. So are we on a good foundation in the Fourth Republic? As where we stand 65 years today, God being so good on this special day. Now my question is that we have all these things. The city, it looks like it's collapsing, it looks like it's in coma. That is, people are using all kinds of discretion for the city. And there's also the point of the Tanzania example, that is Magufuli. Unfortunately, we lost him as a Pan-Africanist, and this man in 5 years, I'm told, I stand to be corrected, never traveled to Europe or America, but developed his country, Tanzania, doing some amazing stuff. And also as a country, our development, do we talk too much and do little as a country? From the president to the citizen, are we engaging ourselves? Do charity begins at home? All this, I'm listing all this so that when we pick it up, we can.
Is that my question? Bossman.
No.
he said he was going to come to me.
I'm going to Prof
No, but,
first.
You're going to Prof, but you see, you know when you're talking, you said that we're talking about how we're going to develop, and you've allowed him to do that propaganda.
Who?
Where I have answers to. Conrad.
I mean,
no, you see,
Honorable, that too.
Yeah, but Honorable, why don't you wait till it's your turn, then you can also.
The thing is that.
But somebody sitting in the taxi now, and that person might get out of the taxi and take that home.
Also, that's politics. Politician now. He's using the negative. You have to be smarter than smart and then rebut so that you can. Okay, you can go ahead. Yes, you can.
You can rebut. Yes, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
You see, all these things, I thought we were going to be going forward and talk about development. I spoke about how we have to actually, we're going industrialization and all that, you see.
Yes.
But where it's gone, for example, within COVID, every country was struggling. So if you have a country like Ghana, okay, where for 9 months, you were able to pay 3 SHS was on its feet, okay? For example, if you have 3 children and you're paying 1,500 each for them in the 9 months, that's about 10,000 cedis going into your pocket. If you're a civil servant, you're not earning that much. You get my point?
Yeah.
So the government was taking that. For 9 months, there was no production, and salaries were being paid. So if you're saying that money was actually given to the government, and you haven't actually quantified it to say that, okay, the 9 month salaries that were paid, that is 10 million out of it. I believe that if we itemize them, then we'll be having a conversation. But if you do propaganda and say, oh, he's been given this amount, 25 million, and that has been spent, and we've seen nothing about it, then I will go to the nitty-gritty and say that there are 2 political parties. One has been consistent, when one has not been. For example, if you use your Fanco interchange, where you paid money for a 3-tier, and then this government comes in and renegotiate for a 4-tier. You understand? So I thought that we're going to go on the tangent where we're actually discussing what is going to benefit this country going forward and put MPP endings, because today is Independence Day, so we should not be doing that propaganda.
Exactly.
That's my point. You see,
but that, Honorable, that too.
This one, you see, you know when I was talking, exactly what a Prof said, that the military cannot rule. They always look at security.
Yes.
And if you like it, what Rawlings did in 1979, when Rawlings came in, he took over power. Everybody was killed under his regime, and then we handed over to Liman. What happened after Liman? The same person came and took over. After 3 years, 128 state agencies were all made defunct. You understand?
Yeah.
So under the 4th Republican Constitution, under the Nana for those government, if we have 155 1D1F, where we are actually growing from industrialization, okay, because we are net importers of food and all that under them, where under NDC we have 0.04% in agric. And what would we have been when COVID was done?
You are taking notes. I'll probably sound a simple reply.
You see, that's what they do. You see, so when you have a country where you're going negative, and you have
wasting and bringing in politics, and I'm more than happy to throw the figures out.
I think
let's talk about unifying things.
Yes, that is
Independence Day. KB.
Yes.
I now take control because you said it's my turn. So let me.
Prof,
let me be the chair. I think that I like to be in a platform like this with people who have political inclination. It means that they are passionate about what their political party is doing, and it's all our political parties are just 2 sides of persuasion. They all want to lead, but they have different philosophies of leading. So this is not a fight. People should listen, be discerning, and take a side. I think that the question is, how do we manage change performance and engagement to achieve efficiency? That's what we should be looking for. And in doing that, the only question I ask my students, and anywhere that I go and I do presentation, leadership presentation, I'm a leadership professor, is that, do you like who you are becoming? Do you like who you are becoming? So as a country, let's ask ourselves, do we like who we are becoming? This is the first time I've heard in many years that the Chief of Staff, Fremont Opare, is saying that we don't have money to celebrate Ghana independence anniversary, so people should be modest in the way we spend. I also heard Aban Bagwin saying that if they don't take care in Parliament, government will not be able to pay salaries in the next 3 months or so. I also heard Kendo Furiata talking about, you don't know what happened. The policy of e-levy came too fast. We abandoned the toll booths, because I've seen a lot of African countries. I think only Morocco do not collect toll booths. But toll booths in Chicago, I've said it on this platform before, that Chicago survives on toll booths. You cannot pass through the city of Chicago without paying at least $16. Everywhere you pass, there's a toll booth. So you can tell that we are cash strapped.
Yeah.
And if you are cash strapped, it means that the economy is shaking. And if you don't have money, that means liquidation is a problem. How do you pay salaries? How do you... And unemployment is also huge. Nigeria currently, I look at, they are 33% unemployed. Ghana, we don't have the figures now, but we know that a lot of the youth don't have employment. That is also a security issue. Now let's talk about our university standard.
I think, Prof, I think in Ghana, I mean, I stand to be corrected, but it looked like it was about 7 out of 10 youth.
That's too high, So unemployment is a security issue. If you don't have any unemployment, what they will do that they will pick crime. So
exactly.
That is what is going to happen there. We need to find a job for them to do. Now I was talking about universities. The university standard is the standard of labor force of any country. When I came recently, I gave a lady who had finished Legon to address an envelope and mail something for me, and she could not just address an envelope. We heard from a lady who finished Ghana Institute of Journalism and was talking about she didn't even know how to write a report. So when we talk about the standard of university, which is the main core of the labor force, we're talking about teaching, research, citations, and then foundations. We're struggling there. So we have to look at those areas too. And then I look at the Ghana Institutional Global Corruption Report from 2009 up till now. And then I look at the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index. Corruption and leadership, I keep saying this, until we fix this, we will never move forward as a country. We'll be running in cycles until we kill corruption. And when I look at the report from Transparency International and then the Corruption Perception Index and then the Global Corruption Barometers, the police, the political parties, the judiciary, education system, public office, parliament, our media, medical, health services, business, private sector, military, religious bodies, and even non-profit are all part of the corruption index. It means that most of our sectors are corrupt. You see, so how do we face that attitude? How come that we always go into jobs to steal money? Who brought that attitude to us? Because in the advanced world where we have all lived, when you get any job, it's an opportunity to serve.
Exactly.
We all talk about that opportunity, and every meeting that we go, we're looking for the next big idea to help us. But everywhere we find ourselves as a country, the attitude is, how do you get money? You didn't go to Accra to look at the sea. You went to, and somebody will tell you that government job, we don't put it on our head, we put it on our shoulders. Who brought that kind of culture? Who brought that kind of culture that everybody drives anyhow they want? The police can't do anything to them. Who brought that culture?
But the IGP is doing well.
The leaders that brought that culture has really hurt our nation, because that attitude, you can never grow anywhere with that kind of attitude. So our country and our people need us. Our children and our descendants need us. They need good leadership. Leaders who will serve first and then lead second. Leaders who will think about the next generation and the next generation and the yet generation unborn. Those are the kind of leaders we need. And then the last one I want to talk about is delegates. Delegates is one of the caricatures of our democracy. They are not helping us. What do? So they all need orientation and training of their roles in political leadership and corruption and governance. And then we also talk about effective civic education is not there. We need that. Transparency frameworks are not there during election processes. We know about even MPP, the polling station, elections, what is going on there. There are a lot of injunctions. People have not been given forms to register. All these things are going on there. And in Africa, anytime there's a coup d'etat or anytime there's a strife, civil strife anywhere, it's coming from either elections or the bad economy. Let's fix our economies and make sure that all our elections have transparency frameworks. When we fix leadership, we fix corruption, and we make sure that all our elections, because the fundamental part of being a citizen everywhere is the right to vote. Allow people to be part of the election processes. When we do these three things, I think that we can move forward.
Thank you, Prof, for that mentality, culture, and sense of responsibility. I'll sum it up that way. That's key. That's important. Thank you so much. Let me come straight to Honorable. Where do we go from here as a nation, as a people? 65 years.
Yeah. You see, the thing is not just a leadership problem. So I disagree with Prof. You see, I said something that things that happen in the Western world, if you're replicating them here, you need to look at the culture of the people. Okay, in Ghana or this part of our world, we have the extended family system. In the US and all that, it's a nucleus family, mother, father, and then daughter. You understand?
Yeah.
So basically, that's what it is. So trying to do that alone is difficult here in Ghana, where when you get a job, the entire family, the extended warfare, and everybody's looking up to you. So we need to find a way of actually, it is the training that we give to the citizenry. So it's not just the leaders. For example, now that the IGP is actually out there, one, psychologically, it's not like with the Hawthorne effect, everything, even politicians, when they're driving on the road, they're actually taking care of what they're doing and all that. A few days ago, Amabua was arrested, Stika was arrested and all that. So the leaders are even succumbing to the law. However, the citizenry, like I said, we sat on a plane with somebody from America, and that person was actually abiding through the laws in the USA. Okay, the moment that person got to Ghana, everything changed. So it's we the citizenry. Now, the corruption thing, yes, it is everywhere, but every country has it there too. But our system is such that we believe that yes, you go into a certain organization, and it's not just politicians. Because if you go to the civil servants under the guise of neutrality, anonymity, and then permanence, okay, are even doing worse things. Recently, the 12.8 million that we found, Auditor General report, it wasn't from the money that is missing. But within that, the NDC is saying that these are leakages. No, these are some of monies that are owed to the government that need to be recouped and all that. But all of a sudden, we've actually turned that into what? Something that is corruption. So I think that we need to actually pencil it down well if we're going to go forward as a country. And for example, you see what Conrad did when for example, I use myself as an example for the Anas thing, you understand? And then with politics, he comes in to say, oh yeah, but there was still corruption there. No, I want us to deal with things for the fact. Once we base it on the fact, then we can actually have a proper conclusion to what we're doing. But if we just want to actually politicize everything that we're doing, then we would always get the wrong result. Now, the economy itself, Ghana is not in isolation. If you're trading with America, Italy, everywhere, and I spoke about the way the Cadbury's and all that actually took advantage of us. If you go to China were doing it differently. I went to China for a course for about 2 weeks, okay? It's called the Belt and Road. What they're doing is that they give the money to an individual, and the individual invests in your country. So you think that the person is the millionaire, but the money goes back to the Chinese. Now, post-COVID, you realize that even the Ukraine war, it's a geopolitical thing, that people are struggling over who to take care of Africa, or who should have control over us. So we, as the developing world, need to actually situate ourselves well. That is why we need to, if you're attracting foreign direct investment, like Conrad said, that corporate taxes to foreign companies alone is too much. You see, when you do that, you're miseducating people, because we know that the foreign direct investment market itself, it's where you attract people, and most of the countries attract these foreign companies with what? Corporate taxes, tax breaks and all that. It is done everywhere. You attract them. But when they get into the country, the way you actually get them is what to stay is what happens. What is important. For example, you know the MTN thing that I spoke to you about. Yeah. The moment we started talking about Hillary, then Ramaphosa was in this country. Immediately it was reduced. So I believe that leaders will do their bit. But once laws are there, because for example, the IGP coming in and actually making sure things are working. The laws they were not new laws. These laws have been in existence for so long. But we, the citizenry, do not want to abide by them. So I think it is all of us that we have to educate ourselves going forward. Ghana is 65 years. Yes, I want the NDC, if anything at all, if this budget passed, they should come up with an alternative to say we would have done it this way. But they haven't said it. All they're saying is that cut costs, cut expenditure, but they're not itemizing them, which is the trick. You get my point? So I'm saying that we're going forward. We need to be factual so that we get the best conclusion.
Okay, thank you. And I wanted to talk about your anyway. I'll come back to you right after Conrad, and we'll talk about the MPP internal elections, and we can conclude quickly. So, Conrad, the way forward, Ghana 65.
Thank you. Way forward. I think. I mean, first again, I don't like making it appear as if I'm repetitive. But Honorable Bissue, I did not say you were corrupt. What I said was, you've made your point about, look, you were trying to do something good, but there was corruption in what Anas exposed. And so we have to always look at it. I mean, you were the first to say corruption is one of the So that is the point I made. I think that I don't want it to look like personally.
Yes.
Far from it.
Correct. Yes.
Bossman.
Yes, Honorable.
He's here. No, we're educating people.
Yeah.
So I am the person who was caught in the video. Okay.
Yeah.
He is there now, so he should come out, outline what the corruption was. When the police.
I'm more than happy to do that on another forum. I mean, let's do that.
Conrad,
if we meet on another forum, maybe we can organize another.
Okay, Conrad.
Let me go on with my point because
Conrad.
you brought it up.
Conrad. Okay, Honorable.
Yes, let me carry on with my point. We are all agreed.
Conrad.
Yes.
I think it will help all of us if you have the evidence to justify, because allegations, to be quite honest, no.
KB, let me be clear.
Because I'm saying this because I'm saying this because in some quarters Anas has been questioned, and there are so many things we can go on and on and on. But let's focus on the job at stake and a way forward for our country.
Yes. But the point I'm trying to make is, look, there is not in doubt, if anything, it's not in doubt, all of us here, that corruption is a canker. Now, that video evidence, and it was not just you alone that was picked up in that. There was a lot there. So when I say there was corruption, I'm not suggesting for a second that you were the culprit there. I'm not a judge, and it's not in my place to say. But making my point, we have already identified that one of the ways forward, in fact, it's, in my view, it's the only way forward. And KSM said something a few days ago that, look, you have a basket that is leaking badly. The solution is not to keep pouring more of whatever you have in it. The solution is to fix it. And corruption is one of the key pillars. In fact, if you look at Africa, FDI coming in, total volume of FDI coming in, go look for UN trade stuff. I play with some of those stuff as part of an area of my interest and research.
For the sake of our listeners, you have to say the foreign direct investment so that they will understand. You know, if
yes.
You use
so foreign direct investments, it's investments by foreign companies into Ghana, not local Ghanaian companies, right? And the volume of foreign direct investments coming up, if you quantify it versus the amount of money lost to corruption in Africa alone, right? You have estimated 53 billion, this as of 2019, 53 billion lost to corruption, siphoned out of Africa. And only about 31 billion at the time was coming into Africa FDI. So you could see that if you stopped that outflow, we have enough to develop ourselves. Even Ghana, we have an estimation, I mean, as of 2019, this is research, not me saying it, and it's estimated that we lost close to $3 billion annually. How much do we take in euro bonds? About the same amount over the last 4 or 5 years annually. So corruption definitely is a way we have to tackle this. Because corruption goes to the heart of our resource management. And let's be honest, look, over the last 5 years, right, and it goes by our tax income has been going up since in the Fourth Republic. I study budgets as one of my areas in my research, and I'm an auditor and accountant. Even in COVID, it will interest you to know, we collected about 54 billion in taxes in 2019. In a COVID year, we collected 55 billion, 1 billion more. We wanted more, but we didn't get as much. And as of last year, we collected about 67 billion instead of the budgeted 72 billion. So our revenue has been going up. But I can't hear you. I think you are probably on mute.
Oh, sorry. Are you talking about your company?
No, I'm talking about Ghana as a country.
Oh, okay.
Ghana as a country, and I can show you. I've got all my stats, my data. I play with it as a researcher.
Okay.
So the point is, resources are coming in. We are getting it. It is how we are managing it. It is the corruption. And I think I was clear that both MPP and NDC, we have a lot of mileage on this.
Yeah.
If you look at our CPI, Corruption Perception Index, our best was 48 about 4-6 years ago, right? 2013, 2014. And we have since been coming down. We literally plateaued around 43. It is not good for us. We can do better. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I speak as a politician, but I also speak as a Ghanaian. And so sometimes when I make, just because I make a point and it appears to sit within this period, it doesn't necessarily mean that what I'm saying is political. to the point around FDIs, and look, I'm not the one saying, Honorable, about the role of tax exemptions. I can share a lot of research with you. Even our development partners, the Bretton Woods institutions, have been very clear to us that we give so much. Recently, the World Bank leader, the country director for World Bank in Ghana, he was clear about this. We give a lot of tax exemptions as a country.
Yeah.
So let me land.
Honorable.
No, hang on. We are all researchers, you see. When you
I know that. So
let me take a second. No,
it's a fact.
if you're doing the research, let me take a second here.
It
was here and it's
okay. Honorable Conrad, just bear with me 1 second. Honorable, we are looking for the way forward, and I think his submission. He was given a submission as to if we can cut corruption.
I get your point.
Yes.
You see,
so let me finish, and then if you want to rebut, I'm more than happy to have a
and we are all researchers. Okay?
Yes.
But when a researcher is talking, you peg it with something.
Yes.
You don't just give a certain year. You understand? So just say, for example, our rate was 0.04%.
Yeah.
Now it's 6%. Now we are making a conversation.
Okay. Let him conclude, and then we can.
Pure economic development,
okay.
And I invite you to one. Maybe KB, you can invite Honorable, myself, and him can have a tete-a-tete on one of those. Maybe we'll not worry, Prof. And we just go contextually, comparative analysis. I'm more than happy to do that.
If Prof is not on, if Prof is not on, it's going to be back and forth, like a table tennis game.
No, you take your part. You take the budget data. I use Oforiata's own budget, Honorable Oforiata's own budget, and I'll show you sector by sector at a high level.
Okay.
But let me make my point.
Yes, please make your point.
I was saying is,
yes, please.
As a country, if you look at last year's budget, import exemptions alone, we budgeted over 2.3 billion.
Okay.
And we literally give about 2 billion in that. Can anyone honestly tell me that those import exemptions led to price reductions? That's a question mark there. I'm speaking as a Ghanaian and as a patriot looking for the welfare of my country, not about my party here.
Okay.
If you go through all the tax exemptions we've been giving to foreign nationals coming into the country, and when you look business-friendly environments, tax exemption is not necessarily the most competitive. You have many countries in Africa, across the globe, developing countries, that have made ease of business very easy, and corruption is one of the things. Go to the World Bank Enterprise Service, go to almost all those services. Corruption is one of the things that prevents business from coming to Ghana. You can give them the tax exemptions, but if we are too corrupt and they have to pay their way from the watchman all the way to the CEO, then they may not come. So the FDI, the monies we are giving, let me be honest with you, sometimes what we do, we politicians, I'm sitting here, my government is in power, I decide to set up a company in the UK and decide to set up a business in Ghana and call it FDI and get my exemption when I am Ghanaian. So there is a lot of problems there. But why? My point is this. As a country, we've given tax exemptions to foreign direct investors for a long time. And the truth is they often are able to repatriate over 90% of their profits out of the country, which is one of the things that also plagues our city. Now, if we have been doing that and we are in a special time of COVID, and we say to you guys, look, over the last 30 years, we've given it to you. Now things are tough. We're asking everybody to tighten their belts. So for these 2 or 3 years, that 5 billion we've been giving to you, can we take it back? In this country, even in the US, when times are tough, everybody has to tighten their belts. One of taxes are levied on companies, right? So we need, look, I believe in the private sector. I've worked in the private sector. I've hardly worked in the government sector. So I know the value of private sector creating jobs. But I also know that as a private sector person, whether I work for one or have my own business, when times are tough and I have to sacrifice, I sacrifice to the country so that when things are good, we can consider that. But is there any justification that we levy in total close to what? $5 billion in tax exemptions to companies? Then we turn around and say to our own poor suffering people, pay this money so that we can give it to another company coming in, when you cannot see the direct investments.
Okay.
And I like what Honorable said.
Sorry, if you can wrap up with as to the future. I know you've mentioned corruption.
I've talked about the future. Let me summarize it.
Yes, please.
Cutting down corruption, cutting down on the areas that are not making a difference to us.
Okay.
Economists are agreed on that. Areas of like the tax exemptions we're giving, we need to rationalize that. Even if it means to cut them in half, we should do that. And finally, good governance. Good governance is the only panacea, no matter how much resources we have. If we don't govern this country properly, if we don't identify champions, like Honorable Charles Bissue said, China will identify somebody, give him the money to invest in you. We need to invest in ourselves. Crony capitalism doesn't work. Yes, there are good things in 1D, 1F, but there are also challenges there. We need good governance. Stamp out corruption. Corruption, you can't stamp it out, but you can control it, right? And then we need to make sure we put our money where our mouths are. Our Ghanaian mouths should be fed first before we start giving freebies to outsiders to come in, destroy our natural environment, take the profits out, and we are back to square one. So I think that, look, these three things are the way forward for us. And it's a collective call. It's not NDC, NPP thing. We all have to have a common national objective and strategy to put Ghana first in all things. Not MTN, not foreign companies, not even me. Ghana first at all times. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Conrad of the National Democratic Congress, the biggest opposition party in Ghana. They've ruled Ghana for more years, so a lot is on their shoulders when it comes to the development of Ghana. And quickly, let me say that we are just about to be wrapping up. But hey, Ghana 65. My take is that we are at 65. Most of the time we talk about corruption and it looks like we just look at the top. Possibly maybe you see the V8 and all the pageantry that comes with it, and what the big bosses and the big guys tend to do, and at the end of the day it looks like they are the target. But when you drive down to the community level, how do you call them? The district. What is the district? When you get into the district, when you get to the regional, and also people that are the civil servant, that where corruption, it might be the tiniest, like maybe they are taking in 50 pounds or what, 50 cities, 100 cities, but over a period of years, you have no idea what is meant, the money that is meant to help that school child or that library or that community, talk about amenities. They decide. The government is not there, but they are the government in the community. So what are they doing? If you are a Ghanaian, you're a Ghanaian first. Whatever you do, when I was growing up, the language that my grandmother will always say is that if you do good, you do for yourself. If you do bad, you do for yourself. And whatever you do lies ahead of you. And so Ghana is 65. Are we ready to take on the world? Honorable Bissue talked about Malaysia. Prof has talked about where have we learned these cultures from, that you can drive anyhow, you can siphon money anyhow, you can do all kinds of. And Conrad has also talked about putting away the party colors and working and doing things as a Ghanaian. Are you ready to take on? We can do things outside Ghana and comply, but when we get to our own country, we want to go by because I know somebody, because I want to get there faster, so I use off lanes and I do things my own way. We take the law into our own hands. But I believe that if it's got to be by us. We're a great nation with every natural resource that we can use to build this great country. That you see, when you talk to other people, they envy us, but they have no idea the kind of things that are happening on the ground. But then I believe that the Ghanaian, when given that opportunity, when we give that education, when we give that kind of platform, that this is who we are, selflessness with love, I believe we can build a great nation. Our children are looking up to us, and they'll be coming up to the point that my mom used to say something. He said, if you're going to do evil, don't do it to a child, do it to an adult, because a child will grow up and meet up with you, catch up with you, and be asking you questions. So, we are 65. We've achieved a lot, but there are greater things that we can do for ourselves. My last round of questions, and we're done. Let me go straight to. I'll start with Honorable, then I'll end with Prof for a reason. And so let me start quickly with Honorable. Honorable, the internal elections. I know you're a candidate for the General Secretary. How is it going? And we've heard several things with police station agent picking up phones. And how are things going?
Okay, thank you. Before I answer that, let me clarify something. You know, Conrad spoke about foreign direct investment and saying that the 5-year tax waiver and all that can be cut down and all that. You see, you know, when you communicate like that, you are actually inciting people to believe that yes, a certain government is not doing well. You know, when I started talking, I said that maybe we should do renegotiations. You understand? So that when you have to situate your factory somewhere or you're closer to the raw material. Now, the 5-year tax breaks and all that, it is done across the world, you see. And the foreign direct investment itself, it's a market. So if these are the 5-year tax breaks, these are all baits that we use to actually grab them. Because if you go and then you say you're actually cutting them, they'll move to another country. What I think we should be doing is that where companies, like for example, somebody told me that MTN used to be called Ariba, used to be called another name, they keep changing the name. That one, they are within your jurisdiction. I believe that yes, we need to actually apply the laws and actually ensure that the directors behind it and all that actually are being scrutinized properly. So I wanted to clarify that, because if you go out there and say no tax breaks, the tax breaks and all, you will not get a share of the foreign direct investment. Now, the polling station election, I believe that so far it's gone well. We are holding it in about 138,000 polling stations.
Okay.
If you look at this, the numbers of incidents or problems that we've had, for me, it is actually good. Holding elections in 138,600 polling stations is no mean feat. But however, there's more that we have to do. I like some where Prof came in and says that we need to actually educate the delegates, because you see, for example, people are being disqualified. In the run-up to 2020, people came in voting skirt and blouse, campaigning against their own party people.
Yeah.
The party's constitution says that you need to protect and promote the image of the party, and that once the party comes out to the candidate, you support that candidate. But most of our people were actually fighting against each other, which wasn't good. So these people, some of them are being kicked out, if you found out. Now, the education bit. First of all, the delegate, somebody will be living in Accra, and yet it's a delegate somewhere in the Volta region.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even go to the Volta region until when they're about primaries and all that, and then he goes for transportation. That defeats the purpose. The job of the polling station is to stay within the polling station, because there's up to about 1,000 people to vote there. And out of the 1,000, let's say 800, the 5 people, if you actually divide them 40 by 40, that's about 800. And you have to shepherd them. That is the job of the polling station agent. So that alone, they have to be educated on that. 2, what are the duties of the members of parliament that we vote for? Attendance. Some of them do not attend parliament. Some of them go out there to do their business. And it's a thing that somebody comes from abroad or wherever, has some money, and then pays delegates, and then he's voted to become a member of parliament, and then we send mediocre into parliament, and then parliament to stop performing and all that. I'm not for that. So are we going to use the jury system where they're actually guided into the functions and the duties of the members of parliament? I don't think we've gotten there yet. But I think we need to start from somewhere. Even when you talk to them as to the duties, and it's not about money. I mean, one person will listen. The second person will listen. Just as we started with the pink ballot box, we moved to the transparent, now we've gone electronic. It started in 92, in the 4th Republican Constitution, and we've gotten somewhere. So I believe that we will get there. I do not know how we are going to fine-tune it as to where they actually guide them into voting.
Okay.
That's one thing. 2, the constituency elections are coming on. The regional elections are coming on and all that, and the external branches. I believe that 2020 was a test for us. It's been difficult trying to get your laws and all that, but every misfortune is a blessing. sometimes we, as political party and people, have been complacent. It happened to us in 2008 when we thought that we found oil and all that, and then it was going to be easy for us, and then we lost power. 8 years, we sat in opposition. We're back now. I thought that we'd have learned by now. But then there's other things that are coming in. You know, social media.
Yeah.
If you go to the Western world, people are using social media to actually make money, to actually educate people.
Yeah.
But in our part of the world, we the politicians, we're misleading the youth after using the social media to denigrate and insult our own. For me, I have advocated, I said it to my party officials, that if any party member forms a platform and starts insulting anybody, that person should be expelled from the party. Because the platform that you form between MPP is for us to actually digest, and then the policies that the government is coming out with, we actually arguing or debating on them, so that we go out there to communicate it. But then you see on the platforms, on the social media, insulting people and all that. So the youth are not even learning. And some of we the politicians, when they do that, we are happy because it is to our benefit. For me, I'm not saying that I haven't done that, because everybody that has followed me, I've actually made sure that, because if you lead that person to insult somebody, that person will turn it back to you one day.
Exactly.
See,
and I like that the kind of ideology that you have. I like it, because that is becoming a bit, I mean, it's like a conquer at the minute. If you can please be wrapping up so that we can
okay, sometimes we go campaigning, and we have the young guys following us.
Yeah.
I do not know if my colleague politicians ask them what they do. Me, for the first time, when you come to me and you're dealing with me, I ask you your background in education. If you have your maths and English or whatever, what do you want to do in future?
Yeah.
If I can help you, I'll tell you. Because I would not become a politician, win an election, and then actually you come back and tell me, because I disagree with some of our party members saying that, yes, when the person was following you, you never asked for their certificate. But then when now you're in power, you ask, no. So you, the politician, should have asked the person what the level of education, what the person can do and not do. So that when you're there, you push the person there. But if, for example, you come to me and you haven't passed even maths and English, and you tell me to push you into the police force or the military force, what am I doing to the country? I'm actually sending a duke there. So I do not do this. All the guys that have followed me, and they can attest to it, I make sure that I develop them so that we find things. And I believe that most politicians should do that. Eventually, the country will develop our human resource, and then our infrastructure would also develop as well.
Thank you, and we wish you well. We're praying with you, and we believe that victory is secured. I mean, in a more teasing way, the victory song of NDC, the victory of I don't even know the song, but I believe Conrad may be able to sing it for you. But thank you so much.
Especially for my brother on Bissue.
Okay, so Conrad, please, I know that I gave Honorable a bit of time, but we are time. Yeah, so if you can quickly, the NDC, I know yours is coming up later on. You guys are going to be doing that, but the future of Ghana is in both the NDC and the MPP's hands, and I believe that there's so much expectation on yourselves. Where are we going to be in terms of you guys coming in, your elections? There's so much we hear, we see, we know. So tell us your internal elections coming up, because we've seen other stuff flying around. What is it? How is it looking like?
Thank you very much. And before I go to the election, let me just say to my brother Honorable Bissue, yes, we have different views in terms of the role of tax exemptions, but I would refer you to a very recent study by the European Central Bank on the key factors that drive inward FDI. And if you look at the top 4 factors, tax exemptions don't come in. Perhaps maybe as a mark of patriotism, we should have another dedicated session, apolitical, on just the how things should happen. You know, there are many things we can do in terms of access to markets, in terms of our labor force. You look at Vietnam, they hardly give those. They just make sure they have a cheap, well-trained labor force, and you have a lot of stuff doing. I've worked in companies where we've outsourced, not just to India, but recently to Mauritius, because we have a cost, we can do it cheaper there. But that's by the by. There are many ways of skinning a cat, as my lead chairman said. So let's agree to disagree, but work towards Ghana. Elections-wise, I mean, KB, from an NDC perspective, we haven't started any election yet.
Yes.
So what you see in the media is people jockeying, testing the waters, if I may say.
Yeah.
You know, dip your toes in the water and see whether you get a reaction, and whether that reaction would embolden you, or if you like, give you the heart to step into it. You know, so I don't want to, if you like, appreciate anything, but there's one principle in politics, and I wish my brother, the MPP, very well in this. I like what Honorable Bissue said, that be open and honest with people who come to you if you're in a position of leadership from the onset. Don't use them, and then when it's time to share the cake, then say, "Oh, did you bring your own plate for the cake?" So I like that plan. Look, no one's life, no political ambition is worth anyone's life.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that mantra of do it. I won't use the slogan, and my brother will say I'm playing politics. But I don't believe that any life is worth any electoral position. It's life first. Yeah. And the young people in Ghana must realize one thing. See, if you want, right, to rise to the height of politics and self-ambition, develop yourself first. And I know that one of the reasons why we have a lot of violence in our politics, both intra-party elections and at the national level, is because back to the C word, the corruption. You know, not necessarily winner takes all, but the lure of the wealth you can make if you get there makes you not hesitate to do inhuman things to your fellows, even within parties. And so I know there's been news around about certain conflicts around picking of forms and all that stuff in the MPP. Look, the NDC needs the MPP at its strongest, so that when we beat them fair and square in 2014, there will be no excuses and they won't say we were not at our best.
Did you say 2014?
So I honestly pray, yes, I pray.
You're going back, 2014.
Pardon?
You said 2014.
2024, that's what I mean.
Okay.
He meant 4014. He meant
44.
You know,
Right.
I remember in my days in Lagos when Kufuor once made a statement. No, it was one of the ministers who said the NDC will be in opposition for another 20 years. Unfortunately, 12 years was sucked out of that 20 years. 8 years later, the NDC was back. But to be let's and all politicians, you must subscribe to this. We should never use young unemployed people to do our dirty work and abandon them. We should look, perhaps if we can find a way of cutting down the cost of governance, making Ghanaians realize that you succeed more by dint of hard work and the skills you have than by politicking, then we'll be in a better place. We'll get to a point where politics is about national service and not a personal enrichment. At that point, I'm sure our elections can pass on. I'm a member of the Labour Party in the UK. Elections come and go easily. No one smacks another just because you want a position. You know, your star should be able to shine on its own, regardless of you being in power or not. And that's why all of us, politicians or Ghanaians, all of us have to realize that no election, be it at a local level, party level, or national level, is worth a life. And we, the leaders, we who speak on politics, has to put that front and center of all the things we do. But Honorable Bissue, I wish you the best in your elections, and I hope that the MPP will run a set of national. That will be something worth emulating by the NDC when we start. But we are determined to hold it peacefully, and we wish that you guys do it for the greater good of Ghana. Because without MPP, there will be no Ghana. Without NDC, there will be no Ghana. Ghanaians are Ghanaians, and we all have political views across the two sides. So the best of luck, and please do make sure that you guys come back hale and hearty. All four 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head, and then we can beat you fair and square. Guaranteed, 2024.
Okay, so let me go straight to Prof. My simple question to you is that, you know how politicians are very interesting. Even if they are answering a straightforward question, they will have to do a rebut, and then, you know, they will go all over the place and come back. But my question is, Prof, we have these two parties. One will always be in power, the other will be in opposition. Now, do you believe that Ghana will ever have a third force? And secondly, in terms of the parliamentary candidates, do you believe that we should be having how do you call it? Those without parties, how do you call it? Independent candidate to balance, because the hung parliament, if I believe we maintain, but also we get more independent people coming in. What is your take on that? Is it going to make our just our democracy better, or is it going to help develop the country?
I think that we should be looking at the third force based on the trust gap that we have now. Charles, we'll talk after this program. I'll find time to talk to you, because I know what is happening at my own constituency in New Jersey North, where people were not allowed to pick forms to even, register. They would tell them that, no, where are you from? Okay, Oyoko Methodist. No, Oyoko Methodist, we finished with the forms. And then the national would tell you that, no, we have unlimited number of people who can contest. And they didn't have it. They have sent it to court. There's a lawyer who put injunction on it. They ignored that. They called some of the guys that will give you some positions and some money. And then they finally, they conducted 9 out of the 82 polling station, elections, even though there's an injunction. And then the case is adjourned to April 5th. So there are a lot of things on the ground that I will talk to you about that. It's not nice. It's really hurting the party. But yes, KB, I think that independent candidates can go and test the water to see if people are tired of NDC and MPP. Honesty is an expensive commodity, and you cannot expect it from cheap people. And I submit this, as a hopeful hypothesis at the time that hope is dim in our country. We should all rise up and then help in this. But can we get independent candidates who are honest, who have development already, who are nation community builders, who can build us together? Because I think that the two political parties have polarized our communities to understand that people insult openly. If you are NDC, then you are not this. You are not this. You don't have this. If you are MPP, you don't have this or that. That kind of insult and tearing each other apart, the temperature, it doesn't help anybody. We should lower the temperature. We should respect each other's choice, because even God, who made us, do not interfere in our choices. So I think that is a way we can look at. Apostle Paul said something in Romans 12. He talked about transformation by renewing our minds. That's all I'm asking for. Let's renew our minds. The old right has become the new wrong. How do we work together as a nation to build a Ghana that we'll all be proud of? Because when I travel, when you travel, we all have Ghana passport. Even those who are citizens of British and those who are citizens of America, your country of origin is still Ghana. We don't care about whether you're an Ewe or Ashanti or Frafra or Sasi. We are all Ghanaians. When we build it and it's good, we all enjoy it. Truth be told, we all don't want to be in another land.
No.
God in his wisdom knows why he made us black and made us come from Ghana. We all want to be in Ghana and enjoy the motherland. Let's make that happen, please.
Thank you so much, Prof. And let me say that a big, massive thank you to my panelists for this afternoon. I've enjoyed every bit, notwithstanding the politics, because this is all politics anyway. It's a good one. Honorable Charles Bissue, NPP, that's National Patriotic Party, Western Regional Secretary.
It's a new patriotic party.
New. Oh, sorry. But I think there was a proposal. There was a proposal.
No, initially it was national, and then because NDC went national, the Democratic Congress, and we didn't want to be like them, so we changed it to the patriotic party.
So it's always new. The party is always new.
Okay. So new patriotic. Oh God, that is good. It's good. Thank you so much, Honorable Charles Bissue, and we wish you all the best. You see, minds like yours, how open-minded you are, how creative you are, resilient, straight to the point, but accommodating. I believe that if we get people like you in the helms of affairs, it will help the country much better than people that are the small minds that tend to just focus on this is my party and that's it. No, elections come and they go, and after that we have a country to run. We have a democracy to protect.
Exactly.
And so we need more politicians like yourself in government to help chart the path of Ghana for a better Ghana, because 5 years down the line, 70 years, and if we are still going to go through this, I don't think the young ones will forgive us. No, they will not. They will not.
But the strategy was that by the end of this program, Conrad will be joining the MPP. That's why I spoke.
Oh, don't worry. Send me the application form.
I'm marketing my party. I am marketing my party, you know. So I know he's convinced. He will come.
Anyway, thank you so. Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Conrad Dumbah. He's also the branch chairman for the National Democratic Congress, Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom, and also he's a chartered accountant as well. So great stuff, great minds, open-minded. Thank you so much. I love you for the kind of submission and openness that you have. These are the minds that we need to make Ghana the great country that our forefathers laid their lives for. And also the one and only Professor Enoch Opoku Antwi, an associate professor at Vertibor University in Wisconsin. And the good news is that and Honorable, it's good that you're on. I believe, and I'm going to do this on behalf of Prof before he even comes in, that the books that Prof has written, the latest one being 7 Leaders. Is it 7 Leader? 7 Leader.
Yeah.
Universities in America and in the UK are using it, and our own country, we are not even having a look.
Okay.
A product of Ghana. And we don't want to promote and receive to help build that country. This is 65. And I believe if we are looking inwards to generate income or revenue or tax or whatever to build the country, then we have to look inward. He said in New York, the number of Ghanaian doctors are more than what are serving in Ghana itself. So I believe that this is a good point for us to get our own.
Well, Bossman, I think that's the point of actually launching the book here. I'm making it. I do not know the work that has been done before.
Okay.
Okay, but then I would have a conversation with him.
Exactly.
Actually, find the right places that we have to actually touch.
Exactly, because I believe the students will need it. Very, very. It's a powerful. I've got it. It's a powerful book. It's like a textbook, and so practical. Very, and so very, very key. And Prof, thank you so much. But Prof, please just give us a short brief on the books that you have available that you've put together.
This is my fifth book. I have one, Leadership is Concept Heavy, against fragmented theories in contemporary and other leadership. And then this one is 7 Leaders, the greatest among us from theory to practice. This is why. And I talk about leaders who serve first and then lead second, and giving practical examples as to how that can happen. I've talked about wisdom models, I've talked about leadership and change, I've talked about leadership and values that we need so much in Africa, and I've talked about other constructs. I've even discussed leadership, how 7 became leaders in our land in Africa. So I'm the first black to have written a book on 7 leadership and then giving it a name from an African twist. So that is very interesting. But more importantly, I care much about Ghana, and I think that Africa in particular, we can be the best. We have all the resources. We need that kind of leadership to set on that pace so that we can rock shoulders with the rest of the world.
Thank you. And Prof also does trainings as well. So I believe that our institutions can engage him.
Yeah, I'm a leadership consultant.
I'm
registered my leadership consulting in Ghana too.
Exactly. So very key, very important. And thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. I know I've stretched you, but it's for the betterment of our great nation and motherland. I'm going to play the national anthem for the last time and to say thank you one more time. And we thank our forefathers that God bless our homeland Ghana and make it strong and bless everyone. Thank you so much. And I'll say good night to Honorable, good night to Conrad, good afternoon to Prof. Thank you so much, and thank you. Have a good night. So you've been, if you've just joined, you've lost so much. It's been a good one. I believe that you had everything that the discussion. But hey, the good news is that you can do a replay on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on TuneIn Radio, also www.starradiouk.com. On our app, you can also have a listen to. That's the Ghana national anthem. Ghana 65 years from independence by our great Dr. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Make us cherish fearless. You know, I can go on and on and on. But hey, my time is up. I have to wrap up now. I have to bow out. But thank you for giving us space within your space. We're talking about Ghana, a great nation blessed with every natural resource. God has been so good to us, so peaceful. We can go further. We can do great things. Corruption, taking responsibility, making sure we play our part as citizens. In the first speech of the president in 2017, he made a statement. He said, don't just be spectators, but be citizens. And so you have a role to play, I have a role to play. We are in the diaspora, but we can still contribute by through education and empowering our friends and brothers and sisters in Ghana. And when you go, don't leave how you abide by the rules and the laws of the land. You drop them here and you go to Ghana and do what you think is good or right for you. But you know what? You can do your best by contributing, obeying the laws of the land as well. So I wrap up and I say thank you to our sponsors. Courage Furniture, based in Atlanta, Georgia. Courage Furniture can deliver to your doorstep no matter where you are, from Achimbegro to all the way to Bogota or Caracas to Algiers in North Africa. They can deliver to your doorstep. So you can connect with them on Facebook and also on Instagram. That's Keris, that's Kharis. Or you can come through us 0208-133-2258. We'll connect you, 15% discount. And also M&M Concept, amazing company. These guys can deliver to your doorstep as well, with some tight deadlines as well, an hour turnaround. When it comes to graphic designs and all print works, is M&M Concept. These guys know what they are doing and know what they are about. And let me say that these guys can also, when it comes to t-shirt printing and all the merchandise, look no further. They can do amazing work for you. It's M&M Concept. And also let me say that thank you to Mayor Associate. They are based in Ghana. If you're looking for a company that is a professional company that can look after your project, whether be it commercial or private, it's Mayor Associate. They are based in Ghana. If it comes to when it comes to I'm super excited, getting a bit tired. But hey, when it comes to housing project, look no further. Mayor Associate can, from conception to completion, manage that project for you on your behalf professionally. And so connect with them. 0208-133-2258. 0208-133-2258. Last but not the least is CIG Properties, Cornerstone International Group Limited, based in the United Kingdom. If you're looking to invest in property in the UK or in Africa, look no further. It's CIG Properties. That's Cornerstone International Group Limited. You can check them out on www.cigpropertyuk.com. That's www.cigpropertyuk.com. and they'll be able to help you invest in properties. If you're looking to sell your property, you're looking to get on the property ladder. If you're looking to get a mortgage or refinance, it is CIGPropertyUK.com, and they've got some amazing mortgage brokers that will help you out. And so tonight, I'll say thank you once again to all our viewers and listeners across the globe, and all the great people that have contributed. My panelist, Honorable Charles Bissue of the NPP, the New Patriotic Party, and also Conrad Dumbah. He is the branch chairman for the National Democratic Congress in Milton Keynes in the UK. And also, last but not the least, is my ever shining Professor Enoch Opoku Antwi, Associate Professor at Vertibor University. He's a leadership consultant. Amazing book. Look for this book and read and give it to your children as well. You can use it at home and also in your own institution or company, even in your church. It will be helpful. It's got some leadership nuggets of truth, powerful strategies, powerful structures that is put in there, practical ones as well. And it's called Servant Leader. Look out on Amazon. You can grab the soft copy or the hard copy on Amazon, Dr. Enoch Opoku Antwi, when you go on Amazon. And so thank you. And let me do something. I don't know, but if you can, let me see if I can get a dance thing for you. For at least it's Ghana's Independence Day. What can we do here? Let me see what I can play that you can dance. Ghana Nigba. No. Let me see. So the president said that we can work together to bounce back together as a country. What we've gone through, we can bounce back together. So it is possible. It is possible. Right. Okay, let me see if I can. You know what? Okay. Let's dance to this. Let me say a big thank you to all our sponsors, and if you're Ghanaian across the globe, especially the diasporans, let me say happy 65th anniversary. There's a lot for us to celebrate, but we thank God for how far He's brought us. And so let's do this from our very own Joe Metal, and then we will bow out. Thank you. God is our everything as a nation. Come on. Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
All around the world. Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
Come on, say. How can I express my gratitude? All the many things God has done for us as a country. Joe Metal says that God is our everything as a nation, our protector, sustainer, provider. He's all in all for Ghana, great nation, motherland. Come on.
Thanks for listening. While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
I call you Jireh.
Lord, you are. Lord, you're my everything. I call you Jireh. Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. Lord, you're my everything. Oh, you're my thing now. 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 Yeah. So, oh, yeah. Oh, you're my thing now.
While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Star Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Turn it up.
Thanks for listening. While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking. Thanks for listening.
Everybody say, hey. Say, how can I express my gratitude? All the many things you've done for me.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckable, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Thanks for listening.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Star Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Turn it on. Turn it up. Broadcasting live online.
Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my God. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. Lord, you're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my God. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. Lord, you're my everything. Oh, you're my thing now. Oh, you're my thing now.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Only the best music.
Why am I thinking now? Why am I thinking now?
Thanks for listening.